Buried deep beneath the quiet slopes of Mount Li lies a secret that has haunted historians, scientists, and treasure hunters for centuries, the unopened tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. For nearly 2,000 years, it has remained sealed, untouched, and forbidden. Why? What could be inside that is so dangerous, so extraordinary, that China refuses to open it even in an age of advanced technology? Today, we journey into one of the most fascinating mysteries of human civilization, a story of power, obsession, immortality, and fear. This is the real reason why the tomb of Qin Shi Huang remains sealed to this very day. To understand the tomb, we must first understand the man who built it. Qin Shi Huang, the name alone commands awe. Born in 259 BCE as Yingzheng, he ascended the throne of the Qin state at just 13 years old. But he wasn't satisfied with ruling a kingdom, he wanted to rule all of China. Through brutal wars, strategic brilliance, and sheer ruthlessness, he conquered 6 rival states and unified China in 221 BCE, becoming its first emperor. He reigned with iron authority, standardizing currency, writing, laws, and even the width of wagon wheels to unify his vast empire. Yet beneath his legendary strength burned a crippling fear, the fear of death. He couldn't accept that his reign, and his power, would end. He wanted to live forever. Thus began an obsession that would define his life, and his afterlife. Qin Shi Huang ordered the construction of his mausoleum as soon as he became king. It was no ordinary tomb, it was an empire built underground, mirroring the heavens above and the land below. According to historical records, over 700,000 laborers worked for decades to complete it. The site at Mount Li, near modern-day Xi'an, was chosen for its mystical geography. The emperor believed the mountain's veins were filled with metallic essence, a cosmic energy that could preserve him for eternity. Ancient historian Sima Qian described the mausoleum as an entire miniature universe: palaces, towers, rare artifacts, and even celestial constellations embedded into the ceiling, glowing like the night sky. Rivers and seas of flowing mercury surrounded the emperor's burial chamber, symbolizing the great waterways of China. But those weren't just metaphors. Modern science has proven that the soil above the tomb contains abnormally high levels of mercury, exactly as Sima Qian wrote. It's as if the emperor's dream of an eternal empire still breathes beneath the earth. For nearly 2 millennia, the existence of the tomb was treated as legend, until the spring of 1974. In a small village outside Xi'an, farmers digging a well struck something hard beneath the soil. What they found would change history. A life-sized clay soldier emerged, detailed, lifelike, and eerily human. Archaeologists soon realized it was part of an entire underground army, thousands of warriors, horses, and chariots standing in silent formation, guarding their emperor even in death. The Terracotta Army, as it became known, stunned the world. Over 8,000 figures have been discovered so far, each uniquely sculpted, down to their facial expressions and hairstyles. No two are identical. Yet the soldiers are just the beginning. The emperor's actual burial chamber, the heart of his tomb, remains sealed. Despite decades of excavation, archaeologists have never dared to open it. Why? The answer lies in a combination of science, superstition, and the chilling warnings of history. According to Sima Qian's records of the Grand Historian, the emperor's tomb was booby-trapped to deter robbers and intruders. Crossbows primed to fire automatically were placed throughout the tunnels. The burial chamber was surrounded by rivers of deadly mercury, both symbolic and real, meant to destroy anyone who entered. When Qin Shi Huang died in 210 BCE, his death was kept secret for weeks to prevent chaos in the empire. His body, already decaying, was carried back to the capital under the cover of darkness. To mask the stench of death, carts of rotting fish were ordered to travel ahead of the procession. Inside the tomb, the emperor's corpse was placed within a grand bronze coffin, surrounded by treasures from across his empire: jade, gold, weapons, and even miniature palaces. The artisans and builders who constructed the tomb were reportedly sealed inside with him to ensure its secrets were never revealed. Sima Qian's account was long dismissed as legend, until the discovery of the Terracotta Army, which matched his descriptions with eerie precision. Now, few doubt that his accounts of traps and mercury rivers may also be true. In modern times, Chinese scientists have conducted remote tests around the sealed burial mound using ground-penetrating radar and magnetometers. The results stunned even the most skeptical researchers. They detected vast chambers beneath the mound, intricate tunnels, walls, and what appear to be large metal objects, likely the crossbows Sima Qian described. Most chilling of all, soil tests revealed mercury concentrations up to 100 times the normal background level. These levels are not natural, they confirm the presence of massive quantities of liquid mercury still trapped inside. Mercury vapor is highly toxic. If the tomb were opened carelessly, it could release deadly fumes, not only endangering archaeologists but also destroying any ancient relics preserved inside. It seems that even in death, the first emperor's defenses still hold strong. Many people ask, with today's technology, can't we just open it safely? The truth is, science may not be ready. The terracotta army itself presented enormous challenges. When the first soldiers were unearthed, their painted surfaces, once vibrant with reds, blues, and greens, flaked away and vanished within seconds of exposure to air. Despite years of research, scientists still struggle to preserve the pigments. Now imagine the emperor's tomb, a sealed environment untouched for over 2,000 years. The moment it's opened, oxygen, moisture, and microbes would rush in, potentially destroying everything inside within minutes. Chinese archaeologists understand that this site is irreplaceable. Once opened, it can never be resealed. That's why they follow a guiding principle: protect first, excavate later. As one archaeologist put it, opening the tomb now would be like lighting a match in a library, everything might be lost forever. Qin Shi Huang's obsession with eternal life was legendary, and deeply ironic. He sent expeditions across the seas in search of mythical elixirs of immortality, commanded alchemists to brew potions using mercury and jade, and executed anyone who failed him. Tragically, the very substance he believed would grant him immortality, mercury, may have poisoned him to death. Historical records suggest that during his final years, he consumed mercury pills crafted by his court physicians. These pills, thought to preserve the soul, slowly poisoned his body and mind. In 210 BCE, while traveling through eastern China, the emperor died suddenly at the age of 49. Even in death, his obsession continued. His mausoleum became a kingdom of eternity, guarded, sealed, and untouched, just as he commanded. What makes the emperor's tomb more than just a burial site is its design. It wasn't merely a grave, it was the universe itself. Archaeologists believe the layout of the underground palace mirrors the ancient Chinese cosmological view of heaven and earth. The ceiling was inlaid with pearls and gems representing the stars, while the floor was sculpted to mimic the topography of the empire. Mercury rivers represented the great waterways, symbolizing that the emperor ruled not only the world of men but also the cosmos. In this design, Qin Shi Huang positioned himself at the center, the axis of heaven and earth. In his mind, he was not a man who died. He was a god who ascended to rule forever. Today, archaeologists and historians around the world agree, opening the tomb would be a monumental event, but also a tremendous risk. China's State Administration of Cultural Heritage has repeatedly stated that excavation will only occur when preservation technologies are advanced enough to ensure that nothing is lost. The problem is not just the mercury or potential traps, it's the unknown conditions inside. Is there oxygen? Is there water? How stable are the artifacts? Even minor errors could destroy irreplaceable relics, erase delicate inscriptions, or destabilize the chamber itself. In 2012, researchers from the Chinese Academy of Sciences published studies confirming high mercury vapor levels above the mound, supporting the ancient records once more. They concluded that the site must remain sealed until a method is developed to fully protect what lies within. More than 2,000 years have passed since Qin Shi Huang's death, yet his presence still looms over China, not as a tyrant or a god, but as a symbol of ambition without limits. His tomb remains the last great unopened wonder of the ancient world. Unlike the pyramids of Egypt or the tombs of the pharaohs, this one still holds its mysteries intact, a time capsule from the dawn of an empire. Every year, thousands visit the site, standing before the silent mound that hides the emperor's eternal kingdom. They come not to see, but to imagine, what lies beneath that earth. What secrets, what treasures, what warnings from history sleep below our feet? So why does China refuse to open Qin Shi Huang's tomb? Because they know the emperor's curse isn't just superstition, it's scientific reality. His tomb was built with deadly mercury, intricate traps, and fragile artifacts that could vanish the moment air touches them. It's not fear that keeps the tomb sealed, it's respect. Respect for history, for preservation, and for the legacy of one of humanity's most ambitious rulers. Perhaps, in a way, Qin Shi Huang achieved the immortality he sought. His body may have turned to dust, but his empire, his army, and his enigma endure, untouched, unbroken, and eternal. And maybe that's exactly how he wanted it.